What's up, Taiwan? Good morning. I'm Erika Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. World economic growth is slowing and the outlook for a quick recovery is gloomy. That's according to the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, which has cut global growth forecasts again. It expects growth to slow from 6.1% last year to 3.2% this year. This is 0.4% lower than its outlook in April. The IMF says there is higher than expected inflation, particularly in the United States and Europe. China's slowdown has been worse than expected, and it says there are further risks of Russia's war in Ukraine pushing energy and food prices higher.
The world may soon be teetering on the edge of a global recession, only 2 years after the last one. Multilateral cooperation will be key in many areas, from climate transition and pandemic preparedness to food security and debt distress.
TaiwanPlus reporter Louise Watt spoke to Singapore-based Arup Raha, the head of Asia Economics at Oxford Economics, about the effect of a slowdown in global growth on Asia.
What are the implications for Asia when it comes to the uncertainty that's out there at the moment?
A fair amount. I mean, Asia is no stranger to crises. I mean, the global financial crisis, the Asian crisis, .com. We've had our issues, but we've come out fine, and there have been a few things that have always been in our favor. The first is that China has barely blinked through any of these crises, so we've had that element of stability and growth that has helped Asia. The second thing that's been there is that the Fed has, just once it was relatively steady, but otherwise it's been cutting interest rates. So, liquidity conditions have been there. This time the Fed is raising rates. So you take away the two real pillars that have helped Asia through previous crises, both are in the other direction. One further element that I think is important is that not only is global growth suffering, which is going to affect Asia, but the nature of demand as countries open up, the nature of demand is shifting. There's a fair amount of pent-up demand for services, which is going out to eat or travel, whatever. And as that starts expressing itself, demand for goods is going to go down, and goods is what we export. So I think it's going to be a relatively difficult period for Asia in terms of the external influences.
And what about Taiwan? Because Taiwan is also suffering inflation like elsewhere in Asia, but it has the semiconductor industry to keep its head above the water, as it were.
Taiwan's economy, if you take the external part of it, which is probably what drives it. Now, there are two elements to it, and I think both are fading right now. The first is China. Chinese growth matters a lot to Taiwan. And China's growth, if you saw the second quarter GDP numbers, is probably, China is doing its worst growth performance in 40 years. And it's going to obviously have an impact on Taiwan. The second is the electronic cycle. Taiwan has benefited from it, but it has been the nature of demand over the course of the pandemic, where people have sat at home and they've bought every gizmo under the sun that they could get their hands on. They've upgraded their computers. They've got this game, that game. Now that is going to fade because there are budget constraints. And if you start spending your money more on going out to eat and traveling, etc., your demand for home products, electronic products, is going to fade. So there are two headwinds that are heading towards Taiwan. Otherwise, the economy, before you consider these, held up reasonably well, which is why they've actually been a bit tighter in monetary policy than, say, countries in Southeast Asia.
Former Hsinchu Mayor Lin Zhijian is under fire for construction problems at the Hsinchu baseball stadium. Several players have been injured at the stadium since it reopened. Public anger is mounting, and it's leading to a closer examination of Lin's involvement in the project. Yu Jinghuang reports.
A politician under pressure. Lin Zhijian, the former mayor of Taiwan's northern city of Hsinchu, is considered a rising star of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP. But a series of scandals have led to questions about his leadership credentials. At the center of it all, this recently reopened baseball stadium in Hsinchu. It took 3 years and $4 million to renovate, but serious construction flaws led to it being shut after just 2 days. Among other issues, an uneven playing field, which left several players injured.
已经组成了改善小组那邀集了球员工会也邀集了这一个相关的这个工程的团队，也邀集了中职那我相信这个新竹市政府一定会在最快的时间把这个球场修复好
Aside from an apology, Lin has offered to pay for the injured players' medical bills. But this has not dampened critics' calls for an inquiry into who is responsible for the poor condition of the stadium.
我自己这边是已经准备好监察院的书面报告，那我知道国民党好像已经有去监察院去送。
The baseball stadium controversy follows hot on the heels of accusations that Lin plagiarized his two master's theses, allegedly taking portions directly from a government report. Lin denies any wrongdoing. Lin stepped down as Hsinchu mayor prior to the controversies to run for office as the DPP's candidate in the nearby city of Taoyuan. But with the Hsinchu District Prosecutor's Office opening a case into the renovation of the baseball stadium, and Lin's old universities looking to investigate the allegations of plagiarism, one of Taiwan's up-and-coming political stars faces a nervous few months before polling day. James Renner and Eugene Huang for TaiwanPlus.
A team of young seafarers has completed a rowing first, a dragon boat marathon across the sea. Jean Van Trieste has the story.
With a confident cheer, a team of rowers sets off at the crack of dawn, steering their dragon boat out of Budai Harbor on Taiwan's west coast. The goal is the Penghu Islands, a chain in the middle of the Taiwan Strait. Modern ferries make the crossing in around 90 minutes, but rowing across the 56 kilometers of waves will take around 10 hours. This will be the first time the crossing is attempted in a dragon boat. The team ranges in experience from a 14-year-old trainee kayaker to a kayaker who's represented Taiwan abroad. But unlike in solo kayaking, the key here will be teamwork. Everyone is in the same boat.
风浪会大很多，看全队的默契。
Ultimately, safety at sea comes first.
有3组桨手在替换，然后旁边的接入艇也都做好安全工作。
After 10 hours, the rowers finally reach their destination, where locals set off firecrackers in welcome. For the rowers, the dragon boat crossing has been a success of teamwork, strength, and grit, and they've achieved something no one else has done before. Damon Lin and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
If you want to catch some Pokemon, you may want to look to the skies. Pikachu and other Pokemon will be prominently displayed on a China Airlines plane, Taiwan's flagship carrier. The specially decorated jet will start flying this fall to destinations in several parts of Asia. China Airlines and the Pokemon Company are also planning special deals for workers who are hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic, including medical staff, airport police, and quarantine taxi drivers. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with images of an artist who uses a rake to create drawings and portraits on the beaches of Dubai City. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.
In a changing world, when voices are being silenced, TaiwanPlus is listening. We tell those stories. No compromise, no boundaries,
people in Taiwan.
no fear.
I want to study Chinese. I'm Ryan Kilpatrick. Capital Taipei. TaiwanPlus.
TaiwanPlus News.